What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Bronx Pinstripe Show, the last episode of the unofficial first half of the season before the AllStar break, brought to you today by Oakley for one final time. They have established themselves as the sunglasses company made for activities, but they also have everyday eyewear as well. Go check them out, oakley.com. You will not be disappointed. I am disappointed, however, Scott, in the Yankees once again on the final day before the All-Star break. I feel like in 8 years doing this podcast, 6 out of the 8, we have done an episode the night before the All-Star break where we're like, that was pretty terrible.
Yeah, why can't they just go in with a head of steam and be like, this is going to be a nice little cap off of a good first half. We're all excited, need the break. We're going to celebrate, relax a little bit, and get fired up for the second half. Maybe a new guy will be added. I don't know if we've ever had that, to be honest, since we've been doing this. You're right. Like, this has been a pain point in each season, it seems like. And we're all like, well, hopefully they'll turn the corner. Last year, if you look at it, they were at least playing really well for the majority of the first half. But that ended quickly. Yeah, man, it's just, it's one of those things that's difficult and not fun to walk into an All-Star break when your team is reeling a little bit, losing 2 or 3. You should have won today, no doubt about it. Should have won today, and that flips the script a little bit. But at the same time, it's like, I know we're going to talk about the news and all these things, but you get a scapegoat firing on the last day of the first half with Lawson getting canned as the hitting coach. It just feels like at this point they're doing everything but taking care of the actual problem. One of the problems, probably the biggest problem in my eyes, and this is something that we've been saying for 3+ years now, and that's Aaron Boone.
Yeah, the obligatory fire the hitting coach because the team has been struggling offensively for the entire first half, and once again all weekend didn't look good offensively. I mean, that decision was clearly made maybe weeks ago, like days ago, right? They're not making that decision in the hour and 45 minutes between final pitch and the firing happening. So
they probably already have people lined up and who they want. If they're going to add someone, because they've already said that they want this person to be in place by the first series of the second half, which to me means they already have someone in mind. Because if they didn't and they're going to an open search, yeah, good luck finding somebody in a week and then telling us that you believe in that decision after looking for a week.
Well, it just would have been hilarious if they scored like 16 runs today and then fired him right after the game. Yeah, to your point, they've done everything. They've changed coaches around Boone. They've changed players.
Multiple times, man. Multiple times. Multiple times they've gotten rid of his guys who've become managers everywhere else. 2 of them are managers now. One of them, a very successful team at the end of last year. And you're looking at let's just change everything around this guy who we extend, who everybody outside that organization realizes that the guy's an issue, except for the people inside the brass of the organization for whatever fucking reason.
Even if the hitting coach, pitching coach, bullpen coach, catching coach, outfield drills coordinator, freaking guy who rakes the infield, the janitor who cleans the shit stains off the toilet. Even if all of those are the problem, when you leave the manager, when you leave the head of the snake still there, it's really hard for things to change.
Yes. The culture is the culture. You can't have someone who's not the head guy change a culture. It doesn't work that way. If the culture doesn't change from the top and there's a new tone set, new process, new everyday routines, new vibe, new whatever you want to call it. That starts with the manager. Hitting coach is going to come in and, maybe the hitting coach is going to be Austin Wells. That's something,
Well, the funny thing, Austin Wells has made the biggest contribution to the Yankees hitting coaching staff all season.
So if we're talking about that's an embarrassment. Like, that's a black mark on this team.
This is not a defense.
A minor leaguer in Double-A now making the largest hitting adjustment on the team on an off day. That's embarrassing.
Completely. And this is not a defense of Dillon Lawson. Like, he should have lost a job. The Yankees offense is pathetic, and it should not be this pathetic. They should have enough offensive talent in that lineup, even without Aaron Judge, to score more runs than they are, to be one of the worst teams offensively in baseball. There was a stat that was being thrown around our chat where the Yankees rank Ilya, if you could maybe just throw this in the chat and I'll read it, where they I don't want to butcher this, but something like they still rank top 5 in home runs, but bottom 5 in everything.
Oh, it's
else.
OPS. Yeah, I threw that in there that night. I saw
you did it, and it's like almost impossible to do.
It's basically Josh Donaldson's line.
Yeah,
for the team,
where he has 10 home runs and 14 hits on the season. So it's whoop-dee-dee, 10 home runs. You have 14 hits. Like, it's great that you've hit 10 home runs, but you have 14 hits, and it's July 9th, and you have 14 hits. Like, how is that possible? How is it July 9th and he has 14 hits?
So this came from Pete Nana, who's follows us on, I think it was Twitter it came from. I could be wrong. But the Yankees are 5th in team home runs in baseball and 21st in OPS. Every other team in the top 5 for home runs are also in the top 5 for OPS. So it's a stat that makes no sense for the Yankees.
Bunch of stupid solo home runs.
Maybe today. It's what we've been frustrated with for the last however many years, when the 3 true outcomes are in play all the time. It's not good baseball. It's not good strategy. It's not good. You need Cameron Maybin to come in and save the day. Maybe
is Maybin going to be the hitting coach? Well,
I swear to God, if Cameron Maybin comes in as the hitting coach, they need to give us a finder's fee.
And they're 28th in batting average. They're 26th in OBP. They're 13th in slugging. They're 20th in OPS plus. They're 22nd in OPS. They have the most runners left on base. Oh, excuse me. They have the fewest runners left on base, which might sound like a good thing.
That's confusing. I thought, Ilya, when you put it in there, I thought you had it backwards. I was like, are they worst?
Because the Braves are okay. So the Braves are second at 574. So this is where it's a little bit of a mindfuck, because you're like, oh, the Braves are the best team in baseball potentially, and they have 574 runners left on base. The Yankees only have 511 runners left on base.
But that's because the Braves give a fuck ton of runners on base.
There's a difference to why those are... The Yankees don't get anybody on base, and they leave everyone on base. So any runner that gets on base gets left on base. The Braves score a bunch of runs, but just also leave a lot of runners on base because everybody gets on base.
What an insane stat when you see those two next to each other. Yeah. And how,
like, where do the Braves rank in runs per
bad
game?
It is for the Yankees to be in that stat.
Where do the Braves rank in runs per game? Because I guarantee you it's top 5. So, but the Yankees are bottom. So yeah, it's been awful. Lawson gets fired after the game. Cashman said in his statement, it's been well documented that I have been reluctant in the past to make changes to our coaching staff in the middle of a season. I'm a big believer that
so this is serious. I mean it.
I am a big believer that successes and failures are collective efforts. However, I ultimately felt that a change was needed and that a new voice overseeing our hitting operations would give us the best chance to perform closer to our capabilities as we move forward to the second half of the season.
You know, the like, it's almost like referring to yourself in third person when you do a callback on yourself about your tendencies and the way that you've, proceeded in the past. This is different. Things are going to change because I don't do this. This is not something I normally do. But Lawson, he's got to go. We need a new voice.
It's just like,
who's the voice?
Firing a hitting coach, firing a pitching coach. Again, do it all. None of it really matters until you fire the head. Until you fire Boone, nothing's going to change. So you could bring in a new hitting coach. You could be the best goddamn hitting coach ever to walk the face of the earth. And unless Josh Donaldson is going to do anything other than hit home runs and then go 0 for his next 27, unless Giancarlo Stanton is going to look like the Giancarlo Stanton who hit 2 home runs on Saturday and not the rest of the time Giancarlo Stanton. Anthony Rizzo, has he been on base more than 5 times since that weird neck issue, shoulder neck thing with Tatis Jr.?
Not like a lot, but yeah.
Like Gleyber Torres, 2 hits today, great. Absolutely crippling error to cost you the game. None of that's going to change with the hitting coach.
When you look at that error, you're the first person I thought of when I saw it happen. I was like, oh, he's losing his shit. And he's with his dad. This is probably a really happy household.
Harrison was literally laughing as my dad was screaming at the television.
Who is this crazy person that's I think related to me? Yeah. I mean,
it's same shit, different day with Gleyber Torres. Are you guys like? Am I the only one that is completely fed up with Gleyber Torres?
No. I hit Reddit. Reddit's lost their shit with Gleyber Torres too. I was in the Reddit threads, and there's some people not very happy with. Look, he's one of those I saw someone say that, this is the most frustrated I've been with a player since Gary Sanchez. So you can tell it's like
he is the Gary Sanchez of second baseman.
It's a baseball IQ thing, right?
Yes,
like that's where the frustration gets.
He's dumb baseball. Dumb at baseball.
Gets that high. It's a you don't play baseball type frustration. But yeah, man, like that play, that's an easy play. That's an easy play. It's probably an unassisted double play. If it's assisted, it's a nice little flip, a little backhand flip to Volpe. Volpe, gets rid of the ball.
4-1 cruising into the late innings. You can empty your bullpen because it's a all-star break coming up.
And they did. Oh, they did. How many people came in after Herman? 6, 7? Was it? It was
even though Domingo Herman was looking like the Domingo Herman who pitched a perfect game, Aaron Boone wanted to pull him because he wanted to get him on a real high note going into the second half.
Makes no sense.
If pitching a perfect game last week isn't a real high note.
How many pitches did he have? 76? Somewhere around there? 76, 70 something?
You realize this was the plan all along, right? Because the All-Star break is this week, I'm not even going to look at what's happening in front of me on the field. No. The plan is Domingo Herman, and then we empty the bullpen because it's the All-Star break. Mm-hmm. Nothing else mattered. Domingo Herman, literally the only way he was staying in that game is if he was pitching another perfect game.
Yeah, I mean, he was in complete control. The pitch count was under control, and decided to pull him because he wanted to leave him on that high note. Literally, the man just threw a perfect game 2 starts ago, and he's at 76 pitches.
Asinine. It's complete asinine.
So it's not like if you're looking at track record and third time through the order and all these things. Like, okay, but Aaron, he just pitched a perfect game.
It's just
the start before this. 2 starts before this.
It's what amazes me is Aaron Boone can still find things to say that are dumber than the thing he said last week, and decisions that are dumber than the decision last week. He is completely ill-equipped to be a manager.
I've said this name in the past, and it's like, I feel like if you were to change a manager at this point, you got to do it with someone that's got some moxie and some clout within the organization, some respect. Yeah, some chutzpah, some track record, wearing pinstripes. This is where Willie Randolph walks in and just owns this team and changes the way things are.
He's been out of baseball a long time.
He's fine, but we know he can do it. He's been around baseball for a while. He's got managerial experience. It's not like Aaron Boone in that sense. Like,
he hasn't managed since the Mets, though, right? Like the Mets was his last manager job.
Yeah,
and that was in the late 2000. Like 2000, he got fired in 2007, 2008.
I don't remember the year, but I can tell you this: I don't care. I want a no nonsense baseball guy coming in who knows what to do. He follows the game. He knows what to do. He could, and again, it's about the messaging. It's about the culture of the team. It's about the accountability. It's about the things that will actually make these guys play to the level of their talent. Because as you started the show, there's talent. There's enough talent here. Aaron Judge is not here, but there's enough talent for this team to be better than they are. And they're not playing to their capabilities. And then you got guys like Aaron Hicks going out to getting dismissed from the team because he was dog shit, and going to Baltimore, who, oh, by the way, is 2 games out of first place right now. Yep. Hit a 3-run home run today, has been lighting it up and a major contributor since he signed with that team.
Like 860 OPS since he's joined
How do you
Baltimore.
explain that? How do you possibly explain that? Besides the fact that he's still a baseball player that's playing baseball a week after he got released in a different uniform in a different clubhouse. And
grew
he's
a beard.
Raking.
Grew a beard. So I've said this a lot with Gleyber. It's like certain times I think he needs to be pulled off the field just to send a message, because there's been so many times that Gleyber has done something so dumb and so crushing, so backbreaking on a field that I'm at a point where it's like you have to pull him. You have to treat him like he's a toddler, and you have to just put him in timeout. And Boone just continues to let him go out there. And it's more about the culture and the messaging than it is literally letting Gleyber Torres stay out there. After the game, he actually said, Boone did, I don't think he's made an outlandish number of errors at second base. Is that really like
he leads
Boone,
the league in errors of second base?
But Boone can't just
he leads the league.
But why can't Boone just say, yeah, he needs to make that play. That's a routine double play, and we're out of the inning, and we likely win the game. And he didn't make it, and it crushed the game for us. Why can't he say that? Why does he have to still defend him when there is no defense at that point?
Yeah, it doesn't. When you start defending people in non-defensible situations,
broken. The culture is
there's
rotten.
No accountability, right?
There's not been accountability since he took the job in 2018. They acted like their shit don't stink, even though they didn't win a goddamn thing. And they got worse every year under Aaron Boone. 2017, a game away from the World Series. 2018, bounced in the first round of the playoffs.
With momentum from 16.
2019, closer, but not as far as 2017. 2020, awful. Just completely not, like, didn't give a crap. None of them gave a crap. 2021, even worse. 2022, they acted like they won the World Series in June. And then they went 500 the rest of the way and got spanked by the Astros in the playoffs. Why does anybody think this is going to be different this year? It's going to be the same crap. They might not even make playoffs because they're not in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, they're a game out of the
and they're trailing. Card. They're trailing down. They're spiraling down.
One game out of last place.
Yeah, the Red Sox. Give it 12 days after the All-Star break. The Red Sox will be 3 games up.
Yeah. So Carlos Rodon pitched on Friday night. That was
yeah. Would the Yankees have one hit?
Yeah, Yankees didn't hit. Yankees. I mean, if anybody's sitting here and saying Carlos Rodon, didn't have a good start, didn't perform.
It was great. Good.
It was fine. He was fine. It
was nice to see him pitch for the first time in July.
He was out there, for the first time. Was limited, obviously. Gave up one, the home run to Bellinger, who he got snake bit by Bellinger. Beat him to the spot. Was looking for it. Other than that, he walked a couple guys, a little rest towards the end of it, I'd say. But for the most part, the first few innings, like, controlled. You can see how the guy, just goes out there and asserts his dominance. And it's pretty unbelievable when you see that he's only throwing really 2 pitches. It's the four seam and then the slider, and that's a reliever. That's a reliever, repertoire for pitches, and the guy does it as a consistent starter. So that's pretty impressive how he can still be as effective as he is.
He topped out at 97.4 miles an hour. He looked really, really good. I was the cynic in me the whole time leading up to the start. Like, he's going to get scratched. Something's going to go wrong here, but I'm very happy that it didn't. It like you said a couple weeks ago or a couple episodes ago, probably throw a sim game over the All-Star break so he can get ramped up in pitches and going. But yeah, it's great that he's back, but they got shut down offensively. So it's like, is pitching been the problem? No. Obviously, it's nice he's back, and it's nice he's going to be pitching. But this team feels hopeless. This team feels hopeless right now with the offense.
Yeah, so I know that we're going to be doing our GM preview this week, the preview of the trade deadline, which is going to be the us looking around the league and identifying people and teams that will be looking for players, selling players, have the tendencies, and we're going to go through all that and see who's likely, and then we'll have another follow-up episode about our plans. And that's what I'm thinking of right now. I'm thinking of who's coming in to help the ship, because the ship needs help. And you could pick one guy, you could pick 2 guys, and I'm not sure that that's going to do the job for the way that the team is, because as we've said throughout this episode and in the past, man, it's like the culture is still the culture, the way that they are playing and the way that they have, the accountability or lack of is still there. So no matter who you bring in, I don't know how much that changes. I don't know how much that changes the full team at the end of the day.
I want to touch on something you mentioned before, but first I want to tell everyone about Game Time, which is the easiest way to grab tickets to sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, theater, or whatever the heck else you want to go to. The app has so many cool features and is very easy to use. Shows you trending tickets, sections that have flash deals and cheap options. So if you're just going for the cheapest option to get yourself in the building, you can do that with Game Time. There's even event cancellation protection, so you can buy with confidence. Some of the many reasons why I like using the app is you get images of your seats before you buy. It's a super fast buying process, just 2 taps and you're done. And those tickets go directly to your phone, so you don't have to dig through your email. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Bronx for $20 off your first purchase. Buy tickets without stress with Game Time. Once again, by downloading the app, create an account, use code Bronx for $20 off. Terms apply. You had mentioned that it was Cashman's decision, obviously, to make the coaching change. And you were questioning, it's like, why is that not coming from the manager? Like, why is, because it's the manager's staff. So why is the manager not, well, how much say does Boone have? Why is he not making the decision? Why is it Cashman making the decision? I mean, I don't think it should be the manager's decision, but why do you think it should be the manager's decision?
Well, you think about, this is something we were talking about before we were recording. So when I see someone on the staff being changed, there's obviously an issue with results, with day to day, with the philosophy, with the way that the person is approaching their job in whatever capacity. And usually when a change, and I'm not just talking about baseball, I'm talking about in general, when that happens, it's the person who manages them is the one that is identifying. And then, yes, there are other people, other stakeholders that are involved with the decision, but that person is reporting to somebody. And if usually the one that's you're reporting to is the one making the actual move, talking about it, doing the things. Brian Cashman as the GM, I understand has the full control of everything because that's what his job is at this point. We know that Boone is merely a sock puppet. And I think this just reiterates that. I want my manager to have guys playing certain roles, doing certain things. I want that person to be managing the staff among the players as well, but the staff. And when he gets, someone on his team taken away from him by the GM, it just leads me to believe that there's no control of the staff either. So
there isn't, though. We knew that.
It feels like a problem. And again, I go back to the culture and the way that things are with the lack of accountability even. And this is also a piece of that. It's saying to the team, hey, you're not hitting well. Let's get rid of the hitting coach. The manager, if we're looking at anybody who's in the brass of the coaching staff, it's the manager that should be going at this point, not just the hitting coach.
Well, do you think this is a shot across Boone's bow? Do you think this is a shot across Boone's bow?
No, I think I think we all expected this. I'm not saying I didn't expect it, that Brian Cashman's the guy delivering the news, delivering these things. And
no, I know, but what I'm saying is, do you think this is Cashman's?
No, because he's had multiple coaches that have been fired.
Always in the offseason, though. Always in the offseason.
That's fine, but this has never happened. This is unprecedented. This is the first time that Cashman's done this. So you could say that about any manager. There have been plenty of coaches fired in multiple off seasons. But this is another coach under Aaron Boone that's fired. And if you forget, if everybody has done the Men in Black thing and forgotten, they put 1, 2, 3 people with managerial experience in the dugout with him as a way to support the fact that this man hasn't done that before. And Lawson's the guy that gets the boot. And again, like after the chicken parm thing with Volpe, like it's just a black mark that's very public and it looks terrible. And it is terrible. Honestly, it's terrible. You should be picking that up. Austin Wells on an off day with Volpe's parents eating chicken parm and, Metuchen, New Jersey, wherever the hell they were, should not be making drastic changes to someone's, approach at the plate that hasn't been caught on a day-to-day basis when people are watching film and watching them with their own eyes up close and personal every single day.
So I think my perception of a coaching staff, of a managerial staff, is it's like they're a team, like Boone, Lawson, Blake, all the coaches on down to all of them. They're a unit. They're a team. And so Boone is going to defend them the same way he defends his players. If Cashman is thought of as not the enemy, that's not the right word, but the big bad, right? He's the big bad boss that can make these decisions. Boone is going to defend his hitting coach unless there's something literally egregious, like Boone knows he is not watching film, or he knows he is actively sabotaging something. He's not going to want that guy fired, because that's also a black mark on Boone's resume. That's a black mark on Boone. That's basically saying you haven't been able to manage, because part of Boone's job is also to manage the hitting coach. You manage the coaching staff and the team.
Right. So who's the problem? Who's the problem?
Well, I know who the problem is. You know who the problem is. Everyone freaking knows who the problem is. After today, Harrison knows who the problem is. It's Aaron Boone. After my dad has screamed it 700 times.
Here's the underlying thing as well that is not, really being talked about too much. Aaron Boone didn't choose any of his coaching staff, which is unusual, very unusual. If you don't have the confidence in the manager that you just extended, that is running your team on a day-to-day basis and making all the decisions on the field, if you don't have the confidence for that person to choose the people that he believes that will make the best staff and create the best culture and do the best things for his players, then what the fuck are we doing? Seriously, just end it right there. If you can't hire your own team, what are you doing? It's imperative to hire your own team.
Hire your own team, have a huge say in who gets hired.
Yes.
Phil Nevin was the only guy that Boone was allowed to bring in back in 2018, right? And then they basically, when they fired Phil Nevin, they all but said, we think Phil Nevin had too much influence over Aaron Boone, because they were buddies. They were buddies from like their days coming up through baseball. So they all but said when Phil Nevin got fired, like, no, he was a bad influence over Aaron Boone.
Which was at that point like the masking of the nerds. You're not listening to the nerds enough.
Yes. Yeah.
Because Nevin was stuffing them in lockers and giving them swirlies.
And I'm not saying that Phil Nevin was all the answer to all the Yankees' problems, but like, yeah, it's been a mess. This coaching staff, you on the surface, you think, oh, stability. Cashman's been there since the mid '80s. The Yankees have let managers go long tenures.
Literally 10 years.
Joe Torre a decade. Girardi a decade. Aaron Boone on his way to a decade. But underneath Aaron Boone in these, is this his sixth season? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. This is his sixth season. He's already managed 6 seasons. Holy crap. How long have we been doing this show?
8. So we had 2 at Girardi and then
maybe 9. No, we've been doing this show. This is our 9th season.
Yeah.
We had started in 15.
Whatever.
But my point is that there's been so much change and turmoil underneath just Cashman and Boone. Like, it's a mirage that there's been consistency. There's been a lot of inconsistency in the Yankees coaching staff.
The consistency also happened when the team was winning. The team had won championships under both people. Granted, Girardi, really played that first year out for the next 9, but
he started in 08. They missed the playoffs, 109.
Second year to win the championship and rode that into the 10th year. And then ultimately,
but you know what?
Joe Girardi had one of his better managing years in the year he got fired, actually.
And I also think he also had his best managerial years in like 13, 14 when those teams were garbage.
Yeah.
Vernon Wells playing left field, Andrew Jones hitting cleanup, and the team still won mid-80s games. If you give Aaron Boone,
you could replace a lot of those names with some of the guys on this team right now and be Josh Donaldson, name your outfielder. You could name a lot of the same guys.
That team had an aging Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter. They did not have should still be in their prime Giancarlo Stanton, Anthony Rizzo. Like, I'm sorry. The talent that Boone has been given 18 through now is good. It's not the best. It's very, very good. There's been a lot of talent that has been on the Yankees roster in the past 6 seasons.
We made this joke in the past, but and it's I think it's taking shape. But yeah, he did. He had a Ferrari. He had the keys to a Ferrari, and he has not had one tune-up since. That's what it's like. You know what? I'm just gonna go. This thing is fine. It doesn't need a mechanic ever. You don't have to change the oil. You don't have to do those things. You don't have to get new tires or balance. You don't have to do any of that shit. You just got to let it go. And that's what he's done. That's what it feels like he's done, because the team has just gotten worse. And when you have something at a high level and just gets worse, it's like you don't do the routine maintenance. You don't do the things that you need to do around it. And look, man, like the culture is a real problem. I think the culture is a real problem. And I'm not talking about like the positive way that they approach things. I think there's a lack of accountability.
That's bullshit culture. That's fake. That's fake. That's clearly not working. Coddling these players and just outright defending them when they should not be defended at all. After 6 years, can we say that doesn't work?
I think so.
All
it's
right,
gotten to a point, man.
Before we wrap it up, though, I just want to tell everyone one more time about Oakley. There's more than meets the eye with Oakley. They sponsored us for the past about month and a half, and we appreciate it so much. If you run, golf, train, or just want to look like your favorite athlete, you can do all of that with Oakley because they've got a pair of lenses for everything. On their website, you can shop by sport, baseball, golf, cycling, snow, and so much more. Oakley has everyday eyewear, too. They've so many different styles. I just know you're going to find something that you love. They also have the prism lens technology that I absolutely love. Scott loves, and the 2 pair of Oakleys that they sent us, I'm going to be wearing for a long time.
My sister loves them too, for the record. My sister absolutely loves them.
I've never met anyone who wears Oakleys that is not happy with them. When you wear Oakley, there's more than meets the eye. Go try for yourself. By going to Oakley.com for more info and pick up a pair for yourself. And maybe Oakley will be back with us again later this season. What do you want to wrap it up with?
I want to wrap it up with a couple things here. Did we draft someone yet? Their draft is tonight. We're picking, I think, 20.
They're a couple picks away as we speak.
Yeah, it was gonna be very close to the time we're recording. So that'll be interesting. We can look to see, what other Aaron Judge clone that they draft this year. That'll be interesting because
that's another thing, by the way. Aaron Judge isn't playing again this year.
You don't think he's playing at all this year? I mean, we haven't really gotten an update since the non-update.
He played catch in Oakland, and then what? Have we heard anything about Aaron Judge?
No. Yeah, they're like, maybe we should walk it back a little bit, not get everybody so excited.
I think best case scenario, like I said, he tries to come back late September just to give it a go because doctors are saying, "Oh, you can't do any more damage than you've already done. You're gonna need to. He's gonna need surgery in the off season anyway, so he's gonna suit up because he's a gamer and try and play, and he'll DH for the last 2 weeks of the season and into the playoffs if they make the playoffs."
Cole was pretty good. Is a possibility that he starts the AllStar game now? That's what I heard today?
Yeah. So
someone's not pitching or something's going on.
So that Tuesday's going to be his day to throw anyway, right? Because he pitched Saturday. So Sunday, Monday.
No, it would be Wednesday.
Would it be Wednesday?
Right?
He'll pitch on Tuesday.
Yeah, for sure.
He didn't. I don't think he pitched last year because he pitched like the day before the break.
It would be a throw day if nothing else.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No. I'm not saying it would be his day to pitch. It would be his throw day.
Yeah. So if he's going out there and throwing an inning, then he should be fine. But yeah. So
the ESPN said Cole won't pitch in the All-Star game.
Will not?
Why?
No. They were just talking about it today where he might start.
All right. Whatever. I don't really care. If you just think back to last year, how many All-Stars the Yankees had, and like they had Cole, Cortez, Trevino, Stanton, Judge, and I think one more. I think a reliever. I think was Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes was an All-Star too last year.
Yeah. Okay. The Padres. I feel like we should just talk about nothing until the Yankees pick, just so we can see who it is. So close. It's so close. Okay. They're on the clock.
What do you want to talk about for the next 5 minutes?
No, it's not going to be 5 minutes. If they're picking at number 26 right now. Dylan Head just got chosen from the Padres, and the Yankees are on the clock. So if you were to guess at the position that they're looking at right now in the first round, what would you guess?
I feel like they draft a catcher every year.
You got to believe like all the top end pitchers are.
You don't draft position in a baseball draft. You draft talent.
You best player.
Yeah, best talent available is what you draft. Doesn't matter what it is.
So you think they're going to get a position player here?
I don't know. It might be a pitcher if the best if they deem the pitching is talent at their spot.
Ilya, are any of the guys on the board that they've been actually looking at, or is everybody off at this point?
So in the 5 minutes that I was watching ESPN with the draft, they were saying that this was a 5-player draft and they all went in the top 5.
Well, that makes sense. If there's a 5-player draft, they were the majority of them were also in like the final. Yeah, it was the 2 high school kids and then Florida and LSU, the pitchers, Skeens and.
Didn't the Yankees also go through a stretch where their first round pick just never signed? They always went to college.
Well, they stopped doing that.
No, but they went through a stretch in like the 2000s where everyone they drafted just.
Yeah, but ever since the money became slotted, you can't do that anymore because you get screwed completely because then you don't have the dollars to pay anybody. That was the reason why Leiter, the Yankees picked him, I think, after they picked Volpe in that draft, they picked Leiter in like one of the later rounds, more just in case he didn't go to Vanderbilt for whatever reason, but he was going to go to Vanderbilt. And then he did go to Vanderbilt, and Volpe obviously didn't, even though he committed there. But so, both guys.
Another quick update on Nestor that he threw today on Sunday. Felt good, hoping to return some point in the first week of August.
So have we heard anything about Montas either? Is he
okay? So the Yankees are taking George Lombard Jr., who's a shortstop, third baseman, 18 years old, out of Culver Prep in Florida. MLB ranked him as the 31st best player in the draft, and he went 26. So value.
They like
value
him.
Pick.
No, 30. No, that's worse.
Oh, it's bad. That's bad.
Yeah. What you just said would be worse. It'd be the opposite of that.
They got their guy.
They got their guy. So they obviously had that kid circled, and he was available. Okay, 31st. That's arbitrary. Someone picked that, not the Yankees. Talent seeking Yankees.
26th, 31st. It's all the same at that point.
You know,
Joel Sherman tweeted that, so it might not be official.
I don't know how he's faster than the MLB app.
I got to wrap this up. So you can stay on and announce the draft pick.
No, we're good. I think
everyone's going to know the draft pick by the time they're listening to this.
I think we just did that. All right. The All-Star Game, home run derby, all that stuff. Hopefully take your mind off the Yankees. Hopefully they come back in the second half and get their heads out of their asses and start playing baseball to you know what? New hitting coach is going to change.
New pitching coach while we're at it.
New hitting coach is going to change it.
New manager.
Cameron Maben, please. The
only thing that would get me fired up for this second half of Yankees
is it Cameron Maben hitting coach?
No, is a new manager.
Maybe Cameron. I would be fired up if Cam Maben came in as hitting coach. I would be very.
A hitting coach. I guess I'm glad they fired Lawson, but like a hitting coach can only do so much. These players need to start playing better.
Do you think they actually listened to the hitting coach? No, the hitting coach is only supposed to look at film and tell them things, and he didn't do that.
He didn't do that. Okay, fair enough. All right, that's going to wrap it up. We'll talk to you guys this week. We're going to be doing those GM episodes, so stay tuned for that.